this set of projects we're going to look at now is using our Words of Wisdom collection. So you've got your uppercase in your Glad Tidings collection, so that's got your foundation and your detail dies, and then we're going to have a look as well at our Words of Wisdom uppercase and lowercase, including those numbers. We've got our Glad Tidings alphabet here. So this is our large set. So you've got all your large letters all the way through. So don't worry, I've just got a few out because I've got them ready for my demo. So you've got large letters with both the outside foundation die and the inside detail. They are lovely, aren't they? So we've got these, but how you use them is going to change them completely. So just these can be used for apertures, they can be used for foundations. There's so many ways you're going to be able to use these, and they're not too female and they're not too masculine. So you've got all of that detail in your die, just like that. There we go. So the detail ones will sit perfectly on top of those foundation dies as well. You've also got your Words of Wisdom uppercase and also your lowercase with your numbers as well. Now the great thing about this collection is you can make it work with all of your other collections you've got, and I'm going to show you how just now. So I'm going to spell out my word that I want, and I'm going to pop all my letters onto here. So there we go. So I've got all my details just on there. So spell out the letters, making sure I've got my S the right way up, make sure I've got them nice and straight, because this white layer is actually going to be your topper. So we need to make sure that we've cut out the letters properly. I'm just spacing them out and making sure they're even. So once we've got them, I'm happy with that, I can then just take them down so that they don't move when I try to cut them. So that's going to go, first one's going to go on there, just taping them up. Keep them in the right place, because remember the white bit that's left behind is the bit we want to use, and my next two letters, and we can pop those on there. So now we just need to die cut those out, and then we've got our blue card. Now I can just put my letters on in any order because we're just going to cut out some die cuts. So we just need to take those bits out. So while that's going, let's just use our magnetic sheet to its best. So those are going to go on there, then my blue card, and then my cut tidy. So there we go. I've got my wish on a card, and we're going to add a bit more detail. So I've got one of my my embossing folders. Any embossing folder that you've got, we've brought out quite a lot. This is a large topper, so I'm using my A4 embossing folder, and then we can bring this one out. So it's just literally keep swapping over what we're doing with our die cutting machine. So I've got my 3mm plate, I've got my embossing folder. This time I want another 3mm plate. Now look at these, they are so detailed, but they're not feminine. You know, I'm sure you'll be able to find lots of different ways to use these for male cards as well as your female cards. So we can pop the letters out. Can you see how beautifully they're popping out? So everything pops, and I love the fact that you've got all the detail down the side, which is going to match perfectly with your Words of Wisdom, both upper and lowercase. Then I've got my S. They are such beautifully styled letters, really nice, and I've got my W as well. So make sure those bits are popped out, and that's good to go. And like I say, these work both male and female, masculine and feminine. So once we've got those, let's try and get a little bit of a clear desk, otherwise we're never going to get anywhere. Pop those out, and then we can get our topper that we've just embossed. So this now really makes it pop. It really gives extra detail. Can you see there you go, look at that, all of that embossed detail on that topper. Now what I've done is I've just got one, and I've just inked around the edges. I've also stamped a sentiment on there. So this now says, wish you were here. So I thought that was quite nice. Wish in bold and you were here on a stamp. And I've added some liquid pearls as well as my ink around the outside. And what we're going to do is we're going to pop some acetate behind it to raise it up and stabilise it. So I've used red liner tape, but don't worry, you don't have to use red liner tape because no one's going to see the back. So you're not trying to do it with invisible tape. You just want to put any tape on that's going to hold it tight onto your acetate. So can you see the little wiggly bits on the H? I'm going to put a little bit of glue on those. So let's just put a little bit of glue behind there just to hold them down. We don't want them flapping around. There we go, do a couple more bits on here just to make sure everything is going to be nice and stable. There we are. Right, so this now will pop on top of my acetate. So just pop it on there, and you'll see I position my foam really carefully so that none of it is visible through the apertures. Straighten it up, we don't want wonky bits in our letters. There we are, that looks much better. And that's going to just hold there. So now you can see acetate through those letters, and there you are. That's now makes the perfect topper. So we need a card base to put that on. So, oh, look at that, ink just flashing. So this is what I was saying about bringing in all of your other collections. So here we have just some of our papers that I've brought in from one of my previous collections. Really, really pretty. I've got some lovely blues in here, and the blue cardstock. So this is the same blue cardstock that we cut the letters out of, and I can just pop that on with some wet glue. So that will go on to my card base. So just pop that on. So we're just going to have a 10-fold card, so it's really easy to do. So pop that down, and then we can go in with our decorative paper. So again, a bit of glue on the back there. Pop that on, and that will then be framed beautifully by the blue. Doesn't it pick out the blue lovely in there? I've also just run around the edge with some ink as well, just to really enhance it. Now we're going to pop the topper on, but before we do that, we need to make sure we've got it ready. So I've sealed the outside so that no bits can fall out. So really tight seals on all the corners, and that will go on there. So I'm just working out how high it is before I need to put all the bits. Now I've got some snow. This is called snow, so it's just like holographic glitter. Little bits of paper, holographic paper, all cut up. So we can put that on our card at first. So you can see I'm putting it on the top half of the card, which is where all the letters are. So we can pop that on first, and then always looks better with a little bit of glitter, doesn't it? So a little bit of silver glitter in as well, and pop that on top. And this is going to give us the perfect little shaker card. So let's just bring tape off the back of our topper. So this is just going to raise it up, so it's going to allow all the little bits in the middle to come out. Now you'll see I've taken all the tape off from round the edges, but I've not actually taken the tape off from in the middle, because that tape is going to raise it, but it isn't actually needed for adhesion. So just raising those bits and protecting them. So turn that over and pop that onto our card base. So there we are. We now have a perfect shaker card, and if I'm lucky, none of the bits will be falling out. Doesn't that look pretty? So pretty. So we've got that bit, and now we need to add the rest of our letters. So we can take our letters and we can just pick those up and apply those with a bit of wet glue to the top of the acetate. So whilst we could have put these letters underneath the acetate if you wanted to, what we're actually going to do now is we're just going to stick these letters on the top, and we're just going to pop them back into the little places where they came out. Now look at the level of detail. Isn't it absolutely fantastic? Now you can see what we've done here is when I've done things like the I and the H, I've kept all of the detail. Can you see with the W, the pearl drop detail is down the right hand side, so I've kept that down, oops, got stuck to my finger, down the right hand side thereafter. So you can pop these on. So I'm just using a little bit of wet glue to stick these down. But these are just so versatile. There's just so many ways to be using these letters. Like I say, apertures, illuminate them, you know, mix and match them. Let me make sure I've got that the right way around. Mix and match the different fonts. But it's absolutely perfect for putting on that personal message, that message that might be a little bit personal and unique to the person that you sent it to. Now, once you've done that, this is what I love about this, is because we can now, as we were saying before, it's brilliant because I've brought in different papers from a different collection. We can now bring in elements from different collections that you've used. And here I've got some flowers that I've made from my Tattered Lace Select collection. We had some beautiful, beautiful flowers on that collection. So I'm bringing these in here, and the foliage, of course. So the flowers are just cut out of white card, and I've inked it in the same blue ink as I've inked across here, just so that you've got that sort of synergy working through. And I'm putting my flowers, don't forget your foliage. I've also got my butterfly from my Tattered Lace Select because I thought that would look really nice, and I picked one in the blues and the purples. But how about that? A really personal message to someone you love, but bringing in some of those other collections that you've already bought.